It was a book I wanted to read, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I began to write it.
I recently came across this post detailing Toni Morrison's writing routine. Morrison, who is one of America's greatest writers, wore many hats as editor, professor, and her #1 priority as mother.
The most liberating thing that ever happened to me, having children.
It was because of all these obligations that she had to find pockets of time to write in her busy schedule. And while she dreamed of a routine in which she would have, let's say, 9 days of uninterrupted time and space to just write, she came to discover that she didn't need all of that. Those little pockets of time that she carved out actually served her creativity the best. I, on the other hand, do not wear all of these hats, but I have been struggling to make sense of my own writing routine. In the past 4 years, I've been working on several stories, and I'm currently working on my second novel. To be working on the first draft of a new story is thrilling, but I really want to improve my workflow on this one. My first manuscript was definitely a mess of various routines, and this time around, I'm focused on finding what works best for me and my imagination. Mainly, what I'm hoping that this challenge will do for me is to solidify a writing routine, have writing be the priority of my day, because after a while when life happens and when work happens, you tend to compartmentalize things, and the thing that you really enjoy doing takes the backseat. Morrison said one of the most important things for a writer to know is when they are at their best creatively. And for her, that meant 2 things: waking up before sunrise and writing on a legal pad. Now, the writing longhand for me isn't going to be that much of a challenge. I already really like writing longhand with a pencil, so this isn't that difficult for me to do. But waking up before sunrise... Morrison said she liked to wake up before sunrise and drink coffee while watching the daylight come in. While that sounds beautiful, I'm becoming less and less of a morning person, and I really don't have high hopes for this. It's really hard waking up in the morning. I do not like waking up in the morning. I do not like waking up early in the morning. This is quite clear to me right now. I will say it's pretty hard, this experiment of trying to wake up before sunrise, get up before sunrise, start writing before sunrise, but here we are. It is day 2. I woke up a little bit later today than I had hoped for, but it's Saturday morning, and so I gave myself an extra hour in bed. Yesterday, I did struggle with what I was writing, and I did a writing exercise where I just did a free write in the beginning and was just encouraging myself to keep going even if I didn't like what I was writing. And this morning, I will say that I enjoyed what I was discovering in the writing. It wasn't great writing, but I enjoyed the discovery process of this one particular character. And as I was writing through everything, I had to almost keep reminding myself that even if none of this stuff sticks, I am getting it all out rather than it rotting in my head. And so this morning was actually quite fun for being tired and wanting to just get back into the bed. And I'm glad that I've finished typing it up, and perhaps later today when I return to writing longhand, we'll see if I stick with this character or if I move on to other aspects of the novel. It is currently 9:30. Weekends are hard. I'm going to get started writing right now. I do believe that on the weekends I will allot myself a grasse matinée, as the French would say, because it's really hard waking up in the morning to get the day started. But my alarm did go off, and I actually need to check if the alarm is affecting the way that I wake up in the morning, because for the past few weeks I haven't been using an alarm. And then when I started this experiment for the last 3 days, I've been using an alarm, and I tend to wake up groggy. Also last night I didn't sleep very well, but I did write in the middle of the night, so that was kind of cool. But anywho, I have already eaten up a lot of the morning by staying in bed, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with writing right now. It is a bus, a truck. It is 1:33 and I have completed my writing for the morning and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling more confident about the consistency. I'm excited to see how the week turns out with this very intentional focus on writing every morning. I did write in the middle of the night, so a lot of what I wrote longhand had already been done, and it gave me a little bit more space to explore as I was typing. So a lot of the ideas that came to me in the middle of the night felt good, and then when I was typing, I was able to flesh it out a bit more. So that'll be really exciting to see what happens with everything once I print it and I start editing and revising. Setting a routine is all about mental conditioning. The discipline of waking up before sunrise when you don't want to leave your bed or move an inch out of the comfy warm spot is actually rewarding, because as soon as you start to move, you do wake up. A body in motion stays in motion, and you know the rest. It's just that leap from rest to motion that makes the difference. As soon as I started moving, opening the windows, opening my eyes, my body naturally kicked into gear and was ready for what was next. I even had words to put down on the page. The thing I'm learning the most from this is how it's all about choices. I can say I want to be a writer, I can actually be writing. It is 4:44, day 6, and I have logged 1,683 words. And I jumped scenes today because where I was, I had a completely different premise that I was working at the same time, and I just realized it's not going to work because it wasn't coming to me organically, and I was just forcing these characters to appear. And the original premise actually suits me a lot better because I know what roles they're going to fill, and so I'm starting to go back to the original premise. So this was a good writing day. Today was all about choices. Today was all about realizing that every moment that I choose to write or not to write, and whatever I prioritize, all of that lends itself to this activity of writing. So I have just completed nearly 9 days of writing like Toni Morrison, and this is what I have to show for it. Part of the draft that I have printed out is about 27,700 words. And I managed to log 10,000 words over the course of these 9 days. And what have I learned? I guess I discovered that between 8 and 9, if I do get started writing, it's a bit more relaxed and I feel like I can find myself or find my way into the zone more organically. And so that was really nice. The other thing that's been really interesting, and I'm not sure if it's because of this experiment or just because, you know, the time of my life or something, but I feel a lot more compelled to create than I do to consume. And this has been one of the main reasons why I've decided to start making videos again. It's because I am a bit fatigued with everything that I've been consuming and I really want to document my writing journey. So while it was difficult and it very much was a challenge, I also had a lot of fun realizing that writing is the only thing I ever wanted to do, actually. And it's about what I'm doing in order to be writing that makes the difference.